El 78% de los trabajadores que reciben aumentos gastan más en 90 días. Eso es lifestyle inflation. Why every raise disappears without a trace. Y casi nadie lo nota hasta que revisa sus gastos. Here's what almost no one warns you about. The raise arrives. For a few weeks, life feels lighter. The card doesn't sting the same way. You breathe a little easier at the checkout. And then, without any single moment you can point to, it's gone. Not stolen, not blown on something you'd regret. Just quietly absorbed into a life that expanded to swallow it. Your income grew. Your bank balance didn't. You earn more than you did 3 years ago, and you feel exactly the same amount of tight. So where did it go? Not into a purchase you remember, into 100 small upgrades you stopped noticing. This is the trail of a raise that vanished. And the strange part is, your own mind helped cover it up while you slept. And the reason no one notices is simple. Nothing dramatic ever happens. There's no crash, no reckless night, no single bill that screams. There's only the slow, comfortable drift of a life quietly costing more than it used to. Dressed up as progress you told yourself you had earned. Watch how it actually happens. The old coffee was fine. Now there's a better one, $5, every morning. The old phone worked, but the new one is only a little more each month. Painless, automatic. You move somewhere with better light, a shorter commute, one more room you tell yourself you'll use. Groceries get nicer. The subscriptions multiply, one for shows, one for music, one you forgot you had. None of it is reckless. Every single choice is defensible. You worked hard, you earned this. And that's exactly why it's invisible. Lifestyle inflation doesn't arrive as one bad decision you could catch. It arrives as 50 good ones, each too small to question. By the time the numbers tighten again, the new normal feels like it was always there. You can't even remember wanting less, so you tighten. You promise the next raise will be different. And the next raise arrives, and the exact same thing happens again, on a slightly larger scale. Faster car, bigger place, better everything, and the same held breath at the end of the month. The paycheck kept climbing. The relief never came. You started chasing a feeling that always seemed to live one raise ahead of wherever you actually stood. Picture someone at a kitchen table, past midnight, a statement open in front of them. The same job they were proud to be promoted in. More money than they've ever earned. And a quiet, confusing feeling. Nothing's left. They're not careless. They don't gamble. Don't splurge on anything dramatic. But every raise for 6 years has landed and dissolved. Here's the interruption most people never make. They add it up. Not the total spent, the total the raises should have become. And the gap is staggering. Years of higher pay, and the same knot in the stomach they felt earning half as much. This is the moment the pattern finally becomes visible. And the question that follows is the important one. If it wasn't spending they'd regret, then what exactly was it? And each upgrade doesn't just cost money once. It signs you up for a new baseline you now have to fund forever. Cancel the better coffee, and it feels like a loss, not a return to what was always fine. That's the quiet cruelty of it. Going back down feels like punishment, even though going up never felt like much of anything. The answer lives in a part of the mind older than money. Psychologists call it hedonic adaptation. In plain terms, you get used to good things fast. Faster than you'd ever guess. A new car thrills you for a month, then becomes the thing you drive. A bigger place amazes you for a season, then becomes the walls you stop seeing. The upgrade doesn't fail. Your perception of it fades. Your brain quietly resets its baseline to whatever you have now, and it starts measuring from there. So the joy is temporary, but the cost is permanent. You keep paying for the new level long after it stopped feeling like a gift. This is the engine underneath every raise that disappears. Not weakness, not stupidity. A nervous system built to notice change, then go silent, made for a world where standing still meant danger, not for a world of endless upgrades. And that question haunts them, because there's no villain to point at, no addiction, no disaster, no reckless partner. Just a slow, invisible leak they funded themselves, one reasonable yes at a time. The most unsettling losses are never the loud ones. They're the ones that feel exactly like an ordinary, sensible life. In 1978, 3 researchers tested this in the most extreme way they could find. Philip Brickman and his colleagues studied people who had won major lotteries, life-changing sums. Then they compared them to ordinary people who had won nothing at all. The result unsettled a lot of people. The winners were not measurably happier than their neighbors. And stranger still, they reported taking less pleasure from ordinary things. The coffee, the conversation, a good morning. The peak of winning had raised the bar so high that everyday life felt flat by comparison. Read that again. The single biggest financial event a person can imagine, and their baseline had swallowed much of it whole. If a fortune adapts away, your raise never stood a chance. That isn't cynicism. That's the machinery. And it runs whether you're aware of it or not. You can watch it happen in real time if you pay attention. The thing you couldn't stop thinking about last year is the thing you barely notice today. That's not you being spoiled. That's a survival mechanism doing its job a little too well in a world it was never designed for. So what does this quietly cost you? Not just money, options. Every upgrade you adapt to becomes a floor you can't easily step below. The nicer apartment isn't a treat anymore. It's a fixed cost your future self inherited. The bigger the life you normalize, the more the same income has to carry, and the less room you have to say no. People think lifestyle inflation steals cash. It steals something rarer, the ability to make a different choice later. Someone spending everything on a modest income and someone spending everything on a large one share the exact same problem. Neither one is free. The number on the paycheck changed. The trap didn't. And the cruelty is that the second person is often more stuck, because the floor they'd have to climb down from is so much higher. What makes the finding so striking is how ordinary it feels once you've lived it. You already know this in your own body. The promotion you dreamed about became a Tuesday. The place you craved became the walls your eyes slide over. The mind treats a jackpot and a raise the same way, as a new normal to be forgotten as quickly as possible. Now here's where it gets personal, because there's a second group of people standing at the very same fork who walk away with something entirely different. Same raise, same coffee, same car, same tempting upgrade. But watch what changes in how they think. They don't ask, "Can I afford this now?" They ask, "What will this cost me every month for the next 10 years?" They see the upgrade not as a moment, but as a decision that repeats automatically, silently, long after the thrill is gone. The spender lives in the purchase. The builder lives in the pattern. And that single shift in time horizon is the whole game. So the real question was never how much you earn. It's this: when the next raise lands, which of these two minds will be sitting in your chair? And here's what almost no one connects. Freedom was never about how much came in. It was always about the distance between what came in and what walked back out the door. Close that distance to zero at any income, and you're running in place at a very expensive speed. The bigger paycheck just lets you run faster while staying in exactly the same spot. Look closer at that second mind, because it isn't about willpower the way you think. They're not gritting their teeth against every pleasure. They've done something quieter and far more powerful. They decided in advance what their life costs, and then they let their income rise past it. When the raise comes, the life stays the same size on purpose. The gap between what they earn and what they spend isn't deprivation. It's oxygen. It's the room to choose. They still enjoy things, but they choose which upgrades are worth becoming permanent, instead of letting all of them slip in through the back door while they sleep. It's not that they feel less temptation. It's that they made the decision once, calmly, so they don't have to win the same small battle 50 times a month. That question is the entire hinge of your financial life, and it turns on a single word: when. The spender lives in now. The builder lives in later and pays for later out of now. Neither of them is smarter. One of them just decided to stretch the frame of time until the small choices got loud enough to actually hear. Here's the shift that changes everything, and it has nothing to do with a budget. Your money doesn't follow your income, it follows your identity. If you see yourself as someone who deserves to spend what they earn, every raise becomes permission. If you see yourself as someone who decides where money goes, every raise becomes a choice. Same paycheck, opposite outcome, decided not by math, but by who you believe you are. This is why people who come into money without changing their identity tend to drift back toward where they started, and why people with a builder's identity climb steadily on ordinary incomes. The habit isn't in the wallet, it's in the mirror. Change the person, and the numbers follow. Try to change the numbers without changing the person, and the old identity quietly spins you back to where you began. And that's the part that stings, because it means the answer was never a secret. It was never a special account or a clever trick. It was a boundary drawn once and honored quietly, day after day, until it stopped feeling like restraint and started feeling like who they simply are. And notice what this frees you from. You don't need a bigger raise. You've probably already received the ones that could have changed things. The problem was never the size of the income. It was that each increase met a version of you that was ready to absorb it. Give that version a fortune, and it adapts to a fortune. Give a different version the same modest raise, and it slowly builds into freedom. Luck isn't what separates them. Repetition is. The spender and the builder both make a decision every single day about who gets to keep the difference. One of them isn't even aware they're deciding. The other made peace long ago with a simple fact: prosperity was never a windfall. It was a habit wearing the disguise of a personality. You've seen it happen to people around you. The friend whose income doubled and whose stress somehow doubled with it. The relative who earned modestly their whole life and quietly ended up secure. The difference was never the number on the check. It was the story each of them told about what that money was for. So here's the one behavioral habit that interrupts all of it, and it isn't a spreadsheet. When your income next rises, before a single dollar of it changes your life, name it. Ask yourself one honest question about any upgrade you're tempted to make permanent. Will this still feel worth it in a year once it's simply normal? Not exciting, normal. Because that is what it will become. Most upgrades fail that question instantly. A few pass, and those are the ones worth keeping. The trick isn't saying no to everything. It's forcing the decision into daylight, where your adapting brain can't quietly make it for you while you're looking away. Decide on purpose, once, out loud to yourself. That's the whole defense. Awareness is the one thing hedonic adaptation cannot survive. That's the strange comfort hidden in all of this. You are not behind because you didn't earn enough. You're not stuck because luck skipped your door. You are exactly one changed habit away from a completely different outcome. And that habit is available to you at any income, starting with the very next dollar that arrives. And here's the truth underneath all of it. A raise doesn't change your life. It reveals it. It shows you in sharp relief exactly who you already were with money, because it hands you more of the same choices and watches what you do with them. The person who blames the small paycheck gets the answer they feared when the big one arrives and vanishes just the same. Your income is not your problem. Your baseline is. And your baseline is not a number. It's a self-portrait you paint every ordinary day, one small choice at a time. That's why the raise disappears without a trace. It left no trace because it never really arrived. It simply poured into the shape you had already made. And do it before the money touches your life, not after. Once an upgrade becomes your normal, the question gets almost impossible to ask honestly because your brain has already rewritten it as a need. Catch it at the doorway. That's the only moment the decision is still fully, cleanly yours. So the next time a raise lands and everything feels lighter for a few weeks, you'll know exactly what's about to happen and exactly where the money will try to go while you're not watching. 78 out of 100 won't notice. The trail won't be hidden by bad luck or bad choices. It will be hidden by a mind doing precisely what it was built to do. But now, you can see the machinery. And a pattern you can see is a pattern you can finally break. The raise never changed you. You did. Which means the fix was never out there. It was never a raise big enough, or a year good enough, or a windfall lucky enough to finally set you free. It was the quiet person making quiet choices every ordinary day while no one was watching, including you.